just take you through some of the interesting things. So this is a dashboard that I made just from Excel. It has navigation buttons. I can press on a particular button from here. I can press on this button. I can press on this button, go back to the dashboard. Okay, so let's jump into our main discussion for tonight. Depends the time you're watching. Maybe it could be a day or morning. Let's get started. Okay, so here we are. Now, in Excel, the first and foremost, you need to understand different icons. We have the file, home, insert, all these view data and all that. Okay, and if you can see here on top of the cells, we have A, B, C, all the letters. So these letters are very important to assign the cell. You have column, rows, all that you need to understand in Excel, and we'll look at that. So for example, and on your, is it your left or your right? There are numbers here, letters and numbers. So each cell is assigned to a letter and a number. For example, this cell where I've clicked right now, it's F5. Okay, so let me just show you one important thing in Excel when it comes to any calculations you want to do in Excel, any arithmetic. You have to know this. Each time you want to enter a formula in Excel, what you do first and foremost is press the equal sign, whatever you want to do. For example, I'll press this equal sign, then I'll say 1 plus. Plus is on shift on the equal sign key. Plus 3 equals 4. Simple as that. Let me say 4 minus 3, 1. Let's go to multiplication. I'll just do 2 multiply, use this sign for multiplication, multiply by 3. Oh, sorry, we start with an equal sign. 2 multiplied by 3. Here we go, 6. Now let's look at division. Start with an equal sign. I'll say 4 divide by 3. Here we go. Simple as that. So any calculation you want to do in Excel, start with an equal sign. You can start an equal sign to know the sum, summation, average, all that. Okay, so let me just show you something. For example, we have these values here. Okay, so we have these values here, and I just want to know the sum of these numbers. I can do two things, two methods. I'll show you the two methods that I can do. So if you're given data values like this, then you want to know the total of these numbers. Of course, when you just highlight this, everything you highlight, it will give you the total just at the bottom of your Excel. When you check down there on your right corner, you see where it says count, which is 14 entries. There are 14 together. It gives you the count, and the sum is 254,000. But let me just prove it by just making a calculation. So we'll say equal sign sum. So if you want to have a calculation, total of the numbers, you go on sum. Then it will ask you after comma, when you select the sum, then it will give you number 1, which you need to give it where your data is and where it's the range of your data. So for example, I'll get this. Okay, then I'll press enter. Here we go. It has given me the exact value that I need, the total. Simple as that. Then there's another way I can do this. This is another way I want to show you now. I press the Alt key, equal sign, enter. Voila, here we go. So it has given me the total number. So I can check the average the same. I'll start with an equal sign. Remember, don't forget, you want to make any calculation, you start with an equal sign. So I'll say equals average. Okay, so average, I'll go on average. Then I'll highlight everything because I want to check the average for these numbers. I'll highlight everything, press enter. This is the average of these numbers, 18,143. Simple. I hope you are getting one or two things. Okay, so now let me just try and select particular numbers from this table that I want to do some calculations. For example, I just want to subtract a certain number. I'll just say, for example, or multiplication or subtraction, whichever. I'll press equal sign, then I'll go on the number which I want to subtract. So I'll go on 23,000, then I'll say minus. I'll move again. After pressing minus, I'll move. It will give me a different color, for example. That is highlighted there. Minus 17. Okay. So for example, now I told you about the numbers and the letters. So it shows me D6. So when I check on the letters D, then number 6 here, D6, this is the cell. Then D10, this is it. D10. So I'll press enter. That's the answer. So simple as that. Okay, so we are good with calculations, and let me show you a division. I'll say equal sign 10 divided by 5 or 5 equal sign 2. Simple as that. So you can do any calculation you want. Okay, let me now show you something interesting. Okay, so now if you have you've been given these numbers, now you want to know, you want to check, you want to have the numbers like assigned to each name. Let's do this. For example, I'll put number here. Okay, number. Sorry, let me just put caps. I'll say these are numbers. Okay, so now once I do this, if I want this cell where I've typed numbers to look like this, the format, the color, the board, so what I do, I'll go on this cell, then I'll go on your right corner here, there's where it says format painter. So I'll click here, then I'll go and click on the number. It will change, it will look like this. Then for example, if you type something in a cell, then it protrudes like this, it exceeds. Okay, so what you do, it's not clear because the cell is too small for the letters. So I'll go here, I'll put my cursor, for example, here. It should give me a plus sign, then I'll double click to resize the cell. Simple as that. Now I want to put the numbers, for example, here 1, 2. I don't want to do this. It will take me a lot of time. 3, I type 1 by 1, 4. No, I can't do this. So what you do now is this. For example, you're going to have thousands of names. For example, you have 1,000 names. You don't want to start doing this up to number 1,000. It will be too much for you to do. So when you first of all, you just have to do this. You type the first number 1, for example, and 2. Just these 2, they're enough. Then you just double click and you have all the numbers. For example, I'll just do this. I know there are other formulas to do this, but this one is easy. So what you do first, you highlight together. You say, you move, you hold your right click on the mouse, you hold it, then you let it go. Or you can highlight using shift down arrow, then you have highlighted the 2 numbers. Then you see the corner where these 2 numbers, where there's number 2, where the cell ends. There's a when your cursor shows a plus sign, which is dark in color, black, you double click. When you double click, it goes all the way to number 14 without you typing the numbers. Simple as that. And again, when you have something like this, you're going to have it has given me this, but can you see this column? It doesn't have borders here. You can tell that there are no borders here. So how do you add borders in Excel? First of all, what I'll do, I'll highlight everything here up to down, up to number 14. I highlight. Then I'll go on. For example, if it's not on home, I'll select home here on top, on the ribbons. Then I'll go where it says here, where it says borders. Then I'll select where it says all borders. Done. So all borders, it looks perfect now. Simple as that. So numbers, you do this, then you double click, then it to give you all the numbers that you need. Now let me do something awesome here. Okay, I want to show you something interesting. So now what I want to show you is sorting the numbers. So what you do is highlight. Highlighting, you can highlight by going on the top here. When it shows you the arrow that points down and click, highlights everything. Or I can just go here and hold control, then shift button, then down arrow. I highlight everything. Then what I'll do next is I'll right click. Okay, my mouse is opposite. Yeah, I'll right click. When I right click, it give me something like this. Then I'll go on sort. If I want to sort my numbers, I want to sort from largest to smallest. Largest I want to be on top, then to smallest. I'll do this. Click. Okay. Here we go. Even the names swap. So now from largest to smallest, as you can see here, up to the lowest. If I want, I can start from lowest to largest. Here we go. Simple as that. Okay, then I want to show you another thing which is called condition formatting. First of all, let me just undo. If you want to undo, if you have made a mistake, for example, you type something, then you want to take them back to the original, the way they were before I arranged them, before I sorted them. So what I'll do, I'll just Control Z back the default, where it says they have jumbled now. They're not in order, in particular order. So you Control Z, or you go on top of the Excel sheet page here where they save this arrow. It's for undoing. You want to undo, or Control Z, you undo, reverse everything if you've made a mistake or something. Okay, so here we go now. So now I want to show you something that is interesting. I want to show you conditional formatting. It's called conditional formatting. So when you go to home again, if it's on insert, for example, on insert, layout, formula, data, now I'll go on home. When I go on home, when I check here on the ribbon, if you can see my cursor here, is where it's called conditional formatting. Here, see my cursor where it's going? Here, conditional formatting. So before I go there, I want to first of all to highlight what I want to put a condition to. I'll highlight all the values in my revenue. So I'll highlight like this, then I'll go on conditional formatting. The different here, it says greater than, greater, equal, all that. There are different things you can play around with. For example, if I start doing this, you see colors are changing. Colors are changing, colors are changing here. They're changing. Okay, now I want to go on where it says new rule. New rule, I'll click here. The new rule, they're different. It says, the first one says format all cells based on their values. The second one says format only cells that contain, that's what I want. So I want to specify what I want on my values. So I'll go on format only cells that contain. Okay, here it says I'll click on it. After clicking on that, it gives me this you're seeing here. So on this, it says format only cells with values, yes. Then it says between, then there's a drop down here. I'll go here. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll select, it's up to me. I can say between, not between, equal to, not equal to. So let me say I want greater than. I want numbers that are greater than. Then there's this here. I'll click here. Let me say I want numbers that are greater than. Highlight for me numbers that are greater than, let's say 15,000, greater than 15,000. And then I'll go on format here. Then I'll choose a color. If it's on number, you select few. Then I'll select, for example, let the numbers that are greater than 15,000 be highlighted in green. I'll click and I'll say okay. So all the numbers that are greater than 15, they are highlighted in green. Simple as that. That is what is called condition formatting. You can do a lot of things with it. Okay, thank you. So I'll undo, so I'll go back to the default state. Now, another thing that I want to show you is putting filters. Filters, for example, I have numbers, first name, last name. So I want to filter. For example, if I have a lot of values, like 100 values, then I want to filter a particular name from the 100, just one name. So what am I going to do? I'll add filters to these headings. Number, first name, revenue. So filters, adding filters, I'll show you. There's a shortcut on the keyboard which I'll show you, and you can also do a normal one. So for example, you have home, insert, and we have layout. Now you have formula here. Then on data, when you go on data, okay, so if you want to put filters, you go on data, then you see here, when you check here, you can see my cursor, it goes here. It says filter. So I'll click on filter. It will add all the filters here. So for example, filters on numbers, you can see. When you go filters on names, I'll just select particular name. For example, I want to select Agnes. I'll just select Agnes. It will just give me Agnes. It has filtered only Agnes. If I can filter 2 names only, I can say filter Agnes and John. I'll do this. Then it gives me the 2 names that have been filtered. Then I can just select all and they're back. Then I can just select a particular number. I want to see who's this one who got a 15,000 revenue. Then I'll find, oh, it's Michael. So this is how filters can be used. Then there's a shortcut key on the keyboard. Then when you want to remove the filters again, you go back on data, then you click on filter, they're out. Now, a shortcut that I normally use, I don't want to be doing that. So when you press an alternate, when you press alternate, what it does for you is that it gives you, let me do this, you go to home, alternate. When you see after pressing alternate, there are letters here assigned. So if you know particular thing you want to look for, you just click that and select a letter. So okay, so let me do this. I'll say Alt 80 filters are added. Simple as that. Here, okay, now select. Again, removing them, I'll say Alt 80. They are removed. Simple as that. Got it. Okay, so what other thing I want to show you? Okay, I can also do this. Let's say I'll highlight on the names. I want to show you how you can replace something with something, or if there's a blank space you want to replace it with something. Or for example, of these names, then there was a mistake. Instead of saying John, they were supposed to be putting Peter where there's John. Now someone made a mistake. They replaced John and Peter. So I want to replace back John with Peter. Okay, so let's say John was in many places. There's John here. Okay, so I want to replace John with Peter. Where there's John, I'll put Peter. So I'll highlight everything like this. Then I'll go on home. Okay, back on home. So when I go on home, when you check here on your top right corner, there's where it says find and search. Okay, there's a shortcut to it again, but let me do this. It says find and search. So what you go on replace. When you click replace, it will give you this. So I want to, when replace, it says there's find and replace. You want to find a particular thing. Maybe you have 100 data sets. You want to find a name. You go and find. You click find here. Then I say I want to find John. So when I type, for example, I type John. Okay, I want to find John out. I type John here. Then I say find all values that have John. Then it gives me there are 2 here. You see, there are 2, which is this. When I go here, it showed me this and this. So there are 2. Okay. So now when I go and replace, let's say okay, let me do this. Let me close it again. Then replace. When I go and replace, I want to replace find what, where there's John. I want to replace with what. So where it says find what is what you want to replace with. For example, I want to replace John with what? With Peter. It's supposed to be Peter. Where there's John, I want to replace it with Peter. Oh, I already have Peter in the name, so it will confuse everything. So I want to say where there's John, there should be Steve. Steve. I'll replace O. Define 2. So voila, here we go. So where there was John, there's now Steve. There's now Steve even here. Okay, so now that's how we can do it, by replacing what you want to replace or change. Again, let me show you something interesting. Okay, highlight here. Sorry. Okay, to show you something interesting again. On where it says remove duplicates. Okay, so I'll say here when I go on data, then there's where you say flash view and replace duplicates. Then here there's data validation. So replace duplicates. I'll click here and I'll say remove duplicates. So it is asking me where do you want to remove duplicates here, because I have numbers, I have column for numbers, first names, and then I say my duplicates will be on first name only. I want to remove duplicates on first name and say okay. Duplicates are removed. Remember what we are duplicates of what? Steve. We had two names that had Steve. So they have removed one, only one is remaining. So I've removed duplicates. Simple as that. So I'll do this. Now you can see to Steve. Okay. So next, what am I going to show you now? Okay. So we've removed duplicates. We've known how to put filters. We've known how to do any arithmetic. How to put the numbers. So now what I want to show you is, and I showed you how to resize the cell. We just to go and double click. Okay. Okay, and again, when you have values like this, you want to copy, you Control C, Control V. Simple as that. You want to copy everything, Control A. You want to copy the whole cell, Control A, Control C, then you paste where you want to paste it. For example, I want here, Control V. Okay, simple as that. If you want to cut, Control X, then Control V. For example, I'm having this. I'll say Control A, Control X. I want to paste it here. It moves. Simple as that. Okay, if you have selected something like this, let's say, okay, let's say I select this cell, then I copy, then I've decided I don't want to do this. Now it's still, you can see lines around the my entries here. So if you want to deselect this, you can just even escape so that it goes back to normal. Okay, interesting. So now I want to say I want to give a condition here. Okay, I'll go on the names at the bottom, if you're able to see. Then I'll say equal sign. I'll say count if. Count if. You can see there's where it says count if. Sorry, count if. So I want to show you how this works. Count if. I'll go on the range. Where do you want to count? It's from here. I want to count on the names. Count if. Then I'll say comma. Count if I want you to count for me. I'm asking so to count for me where there's a name Steve. Count if Steve. Okay, count if Steve. Then I'll press enter. So it shows me that there are two names that are appearing as Steve. So I say count if Steve. So for example, I can have a lot of values and I say count if this. So count if Steve, it gives me 2. Let's say I'll say equal sign again. I'll say count if. So it's asking me, I want to ask Excel to say check for me, count if, and give me a number. I'm saying check for me and give me a number. Count if, let's say count if Jen. Count if Jen. So I'll say count if. So I'll select the range where I want to count like this. I'll say count if Jen. So comma, this inverted commas, then I'll say count if Jen. Okay, close the brackets. Sorry, so I only have one Jen, just made a mistake on the formula, but that's how we use it. Simple as that and fast. So I don't want to take you into more details because there are other videos that I've shown on different aspects on data validation. I'll show you how data validation is used. You can make a drop down. You can make a drop down. For example, I want to make a drop down. One cell will be giving me all the names that I have here than using filters. So for example, I'll just say I want to put, I'll go on data, then I'll go down here on here. You can see my case how it goes on data validation. Then I'll go on data, then I'll click data validation. Then here where it says allow, it says any value, then I'll select list, give me a list. Then it says source, select the source. The source is this. I want to highlight everything here. You can see they are highlighted. All the names are highlighted here. Then I'll go back here. I'll say OK. So you can see here, when I go here, there's this drop down. When I do a drop down, I can select any name I want to select here. Just do a drop down, I select the name. Drop down, I select the name. So join me for more videos. I'll be showing you on statistical methods that you can use to on Excel. You can check for your data. You can check for ANOVA. You can check for anything you want to check for. You can check the error test, regression method, and that will be it. So I'll show you that in other videos. So I want to show you one more last thing. Okay, so let me undo this. I don't need this now. Okay. So now when you have all these values, you have all the numbers, and remember, if you want, you can be highlighting these with colors here on the fuse, just like you do in Word. You can color this whichever color you want. You can do that, just simple as that. So you can follow for more videos, and I'll show you other methods you can use to make some calculations, to make some divisions, to make different arithmetics just in Excel. So join me for more videos. If you're not subscribed, remember to subscribe, to like, subscribe, and make sure you press that notification button, bell, so that it reminds you each time I post a new video. Thank you for your time. Have a great day. Enjoy and begin to analyze the data. Practice more and more. Thank you.